Hi, I'm Kevin Castaneda, and this is Kev's Mindset, where we talk everything finance, investing, mindset, and productivity. And today we're going to be talking about Palantir stock. Now, I've been kind of sinking my head into Palantir stock and just learning about it for several days, several weeks at this point, and it's been piquing my interest an immense amount. I've been writing pages and pages about it. I've been reading article on article, watching video on video, going through their website and reading every single word, looking at the business implementations of their products. And it's really crazy how great of a company Palantir is. And their earnings just came out and they had about a 52% beat on revenue with a 50% drop in bottom line or in net profit. However, I'm not too worried about this because they're still kind of a growing company. However, I was looking to pick up some Palantir on this dip. However, unfortunately, I was not able to. Palantir does indeed have several interesting products. However, they're kind of complicated. So if you're just getting started and this is the first video you're watching on Palantir, or maybe one of the first few and you don't really understand it yet, Palantir is somewhat confusing. You do need to do your own due diligence. However, they do have three main products: Palantir Apollo, Palantir Gotham, and Palantir Founder. And now all three kind of do different things on systemic layers. And I'm not like at all an expert on this subject, especially about algorithms and data and all these things and data configuration. I'm not a genius, and I don't know a lot about it yet as I'm just starting to learn about it. However, I am very interested in it, and I do think that data is kind of a very interesting thing that people need to start paying more attention to. And by understanding Palantir, you're able to gauge a deeper understanding into what exactly is going on in social media, what exactly is going on in Apple, in Google, in these big companies, and why they're gaining so much power as companies and how their market cap just keeps increasing and increasing. And it kind of gives you a nice perspective on the overall marketplace that is going on and the technological advancements that we're making. And so Palantir is essentially a software company, and basically each of their softwares do something different. Now, they had many different customers. They started off mainly with government-based customers, but now they're at about 49% of private and like companies as opposed to just the government. And so now they're at a nice equilibrium. They have some businesses and they have the government and they have contracts set. And now big businesses are starting to get in. And I'll show you several of the big businesses that are getting in. But lots of big businesses are getting in with Palantir. And now this is very important because these big businesses wouldn't be using so much capital or even a small amount of capital to deploy into Palantir services unless the Palantir services were getting them more than what they're spending. It's basic commerce. If you're going to spend a certain amount, that investment needs to make you more than you're spending on it. So obviously, if bigger companies just keep renewing contracts, and if the government keeps renewing contracts, it's because it's useful. It's because it works. And now, basically, Project Gotham is somewhat complicated. However, I do have some notes on it. And Palantir Gotham essentially is it goes through the data that you entered and it goes back and links patterns that it finds within the data that you set. And then throughout this, it continues to look for patterns that it can find that it can link your data with. And then Palantir Founder is a little more complex, and Palantir Founder is essentially more useful for businesses, and I see Palantir Gotham more useful for kind of the government entity or people who are trying to find patterns between things, maybe to better their product a little more. And I feel like Founder could be for anyone, and it could be more incorporated for the frontline workers and for everyone as a whole in the company. And it's more of a kind of center for the companies to provide under. And then Palantir Apollo is also very interesting. Palantir Apollo essentially is what comes before Palantir Gotham. So Palantir Gotham is after all the data is entered, it kind of sorts it, it looks for patterns and all this. And then Palantir Apollo is what comes before Palantir Gotham. So basically it sorts and it refreshes the code and it changes the code and it betters the code over time. It's kind of like a human who's a data scientist or something like that, or a data engineer, and they're working on the algorithm, they're working on everything over time and it's building it up. And then Gotham is looking over what was built by Apollo and finding references and looking for all sorts of things. It's honestly very confusing. However, I do tell you that you should do your own due diligence. However, you have been able to look through my notes as we've gone through this video, and you've been able to hear my opinion and me kind of discuss about what is going on at Palantir. Now, let's go on to what I think the stock is going to do. So now that you have a nice brief overview of what Palantir is, now we can go into the Palantir stock. Now, I think that Palantir stock is going to be quite interesting to watch. Right now, it's sitting at about $20 per share. I think we will see one more dip to the 18, 17, 16 range. And then from there, I think we might be able to see steady growth depending on what happens with inflation. However, anywhere under 19, under 18, I think under 1850 is kind of a nice buy. So personally, under 1850, I'm looking to buy it after I kind of missed out on the last little buy opportunity. There we go. So after I missed out on the last little buy opportunity, I'm kind of looking to see if I could find a way in, and 1850 and under seems like the price target that I am comfortable with personally. And so I do hope you enjoyed this video and that you know more about Palantir than you did when you clicked on this video. And honestly, it's a very confusing company, although I do think that they have massive potential. I do think that Palantir can potentially hit $1 trillion market cap, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I think it's possible. If they keep growing their revenue and they keep growing as a business, I think that they will do very well in the long-term future. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, leave a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new. And if you want more news about stocks, more kind of deep dives, and also brief overviews like this one about Palantir, about Tesla, Coinbase, CCIB, about a bunch of mostly tech stocks, but I go into other things as well. And so if you want another kind of stocks and psychology and all these things that I referenced in the beginning of the video, if you want to learn about all these things, then go ahead and subscribe. And so now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. This was Kev's Mindset, and don't forget to sign up with Public down below. Get up to $50 of stock of your choice when you sign up. I'll see you guys.